All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Two Nights and a Mic. I'm Wright, he's Todd Simmons, and our guest today is the co-founder, author, avid humanitarian who does mission work abroad. She's an entrepreneur. She is Mrs. Chantell Cooley. Chantell is a highly regarded entrepreneur, author, motivational speaker, and leader with over 25 years of experience in empowering individuals to achieve their full potential. As the co-founder of Columbia Southern University and co-owner of Columbia Southern Education Group, Chantell has had profound impact on the education sector. Her leadership has inspired countless individuals, especially in the areas of leadership, faith, and integrating spiritual principles into business. Chantell is passionate about equipping entrepreneurs and professionals with the tools they need to succeed, both in their careers and their spiritual lives. She is a prophetic voice in the marketplace, often referred to as a marketplace ministry, helping individuals align their faith with their work. She's married with 2 children. Chantell believes that life's challenges serve as catalysts for growth and empowerment. Her personal journey of overcoming adversity has made her a beacon of hope and inspiration for many, both in the business world and her ministry work. Chantell is also deeply passionate about animals and gardening, which serve as her personal retreats, offering tranquility and inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, Chantell Cooley. Chantell, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Excited to have you. As we dive into this thing, Chantel, it's so ironic that I was looking at my schedule. I know we are all all over the place, busy people, but I had an opportunity to onboard someone for the first time into the CSU family just last week. One of the new members of military outreach team, and I kind of attended the onboarding that they have over in HR. They showed a video of like bring you in right there up front of why CSU and why this is a family. And I've been with CSU for 6 years, and I didn't forget about that video, and I remember every time I come to the campus. I was like, man, it kind of reinvigorated me. So as I knew we were going to have you on this morning, I was like, a couple of months ago, you came in and you talked to Dr. Mike Perry's team. Your impromptu came in, and we were all in there, and you kind of gave an impromptu founding story of really, the essence of what happened, with founding the CSU. So I said, let's start there this morning. It's like, hey, we're like, let's start with, you know, that founding story. Like, if you could just take us back to the beginning of CSU. I think it's such an amazing story. I've heard you say it, tell it once, and I think the audience would be so amazed to hear it in your own words.
Okay, well, great. And again, it's such an honor to be with both of you. When I heard I could get on here with you, I was so excited, and just appreciate all that you are doing to push education forward through CSU. Well, the story, yeah, it's I can laugh about it now, but back then it was not very funny. And we're very successful now. CSU's doing amazing things, constantly overcoming challenges and mountains, and but it wasn't so great back then. And I guess I there's so many places I could start with this story, because but I think I'll start with we I graduated from high school. This is where it really got the worst. The second time my dad went into bankruptcy. And so we already overcome it once. We had the nice home, the swimming pool, the Cadillac. We came up from nothing again. And so here we are. I graduated from high school. He's an insurance salesman. He'd been the top, my dad had been the top insurance salesman in the nation. Probably around my junior year, he was just doing great. He then went in and he was going to work for some type of phone company where he was a VP, and he got the job, and then somebody got jealous of him, and he got let go because he was a very charismatic man. He was an overcomer. Always, he was a great communicator, and whatever my dad set his mind to do, he would do it. And I graduated, and I thought everything was great, and then he lost that job. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. Everything spiraled downhill. I couldn't go to college. I wanted to stay. They left because, I mean, we were losing everything, the home again. And I wanted to stay where I was in Mississippi. But they left, came over into Alabama, which is where the university is now. And I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go help my family. So I left and went, and it was the worst time of our lives. We had we lived in a little bitty, I don't know, it was like a camp house on the river. And, I was okay with it, but it was really bad. Everything stopped working. The stove stopped working. We had to bring out a camping little eye that you could put a pot on, and the dryer stopped working. So all the towels are all laid across the couch and everything. And it was horrible. And then my dad got depressed, couldn't find a job, so he moved in Alabama because he thought he had another job. So him and his best friend went to the interview. They chose to hire him and not his friend. So my dad, being a good friend, said, I can't take the job because you are not hiring my friend. It's not right. I'm not going to take it. He comes home. We think we're going to come out of the mess because it's a great job, and he doesn't get the job. So we're like, what are we going to do? So the landlord of the home said, I like you guys. They liked my dad, and we didn't even have to pay any rent. But the house was falling apart. So, of course. So we came to this place where, wow, I think we might run out of food. Like, I couldn't believe this was happening. And I thought, we're a family. We're going after the American dream, and we're literally running out of food. People are dropping food off at our door. And I was excited because there was food at our door. And it's like, my God, this is happening. And I'm 19, 20. I'm the only one who has a job. I'm working at a daycare. I didn't get to go to college. And so things just started spiraling. Dad just got more depressed, more depressed. Nothing was working out. And mom and I were just, I have a lot of faith in God. That's all we had. When you get backed up in a corner, you know what? That's where you finally lean on God. Is that's all we had, and we did. And do you know we came out of that mess? Our faith in God helped us come out, and my dad met somebody. He began to work for him, and eventually we bought this environmental company. My dad had never been in environment, and he just educated himself. My dad bought it. This is, of course, several months have passed, and I'm like, my gosh, I think we're going to come out of this mess. And at that time, we'd already gone through bankruptcy. We'd lost every car. The bank would come and pick our cars up. We would watch it from the window, crying because dad had to leave the keys in the car. So we watched all that. So we came through so much, and I'm the only one that had the car and bringing $95 a month home. So thank God he got a job because we were barely surviving. Uh, So, I don't know if you've heard that part of it.
No, that's new. That's a new part. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and K. Ray and I always talk about it all the time. When I heard K. Ray read your bio. We both were military in the military, and doing my 25 years in the military, I used to not. I had trouble with people reading my bio because it only tells the good things, right?
Yeah.
And they're not the asterisk. So I really appreciate you filling in the in between the semicolons, the asterisks, and the commas, the stories of how that came to be. So I appreciate that, Chantel.
Hey,
Yes. Yeah.
Chantel,
Go ahead.
so overcoming so much at such an early point in life and in your career, how does it help you today? So with so many things going on in the world, from a political perspective, overcoming COVID, all the challenges with higher education, how you dealt with and how your family dealt with adversity back then, how does it help you today?
Well, you never forget where you came from, right? I think that's what a lot of people do is they get successful and they forgot those early days. And for me, I decided there's just no way. And my dad, none of us did. We never forgot where we came from. So then it makes you, when you're helping people, you just remember those. Oh, excuse me. You just remember those days. Can you hear me now? Sorry about that.
Yes.
You remember
Yeah.
those days, and it just helps you. You're a better person, and you have empathy for people. You go, I remember when I started out, and I think you become a better person, you become a better leader, and it helps you overcome adversity. Nothing is impossible. I always have a motto: I'll either go around the mountain, I'll go through it, or I'll simply just remove it out of our way. And honestly, I think that is that legacy, that part of us, it stayed with us. So then I think legacy is not about what all you're doing, it's about what you impart into people. And so CSU then became this thing. I thought, oh my goodness. So our story can be implanted inside of CSU, and then the people, and it's a story where, okay, if you're at the bottom, you can come out too. And I think that's
No,
just kind of how it evolved.
no, love that. And I tell you, and the stories of those stories are so implanted in the hallways of CSU. It doesn't matter who you meet in the hallway. It doesn't matter from the front door when you walk in to the three people behind the counter. I think that's what I always tell people when it's like, hey, what do you do at CSU? I say, well, I was employed for 6 months. Well, Rick Cooper brought me on for 6 months to do some things for him, and I was like, it's 6 years later. And I said that's the common theme amongst that. And I think when people when you hear anyone that works there, from the janitor to the president, everybody's story is implanted into that fabric of adversity, family, moving mountains, being one together as one family, one team, moving forward for a common purpose. So no, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to it on a personal level. Chantel and I worked together when I was a member of the board before I joined the
Mhm.
staff, and of course, with like any business, or we had ups and downs, and just watching you and your brother Robert, the owners of CSU and the Columbia Southern Education Group, how calm you are even during the bad times, right? When we had to make tough decisions, when we had to either offload programs or get rid of people, whatever the challenge was, you both were just so calm, and you could tell that you had been through some things before, and you knew how to handle it, and just the
Thank
mindset that
you.
you talked about of overcoming that mountain by any means necessary.
Yeah, it's thank you for saying that. That's good that you think that. Of course, inside, there was those days where I wasn't calm, and freaking out and just like, one thing though, Khalif, I I was never going to go back to those days where we had no food and people were delivering it. I
Hmm.
think that adversity, that I couldn't
Mm,
believe we even got to this point, and I just said I'm gonna fight. Even being young, I didn't care what I had to do, and I think I'm sure both of you have your story too, and that's it. But I'm not gonna forget those days because that made me who I am today. But I'm going to never go back there again. You know?
Yeah, no, hey,
yeah.
Todd and I have both been through something very similar, and we don't plan on going back either. So,
Oh,
No.
absolutely. Every day, I
Mhm.
remind my kids. I remind my kids of that all the time. Like, hey, you have no idea.
I
so,
know.
so speak. Yeah, speaking of something that made you who you are today, Todd and I, we both credit our journey and our success to having great mentors. Who was that mentor for you? Who was the person that helped you along the way to become the person, the leader, the woman that you are now?
Well, my dad died 20 years ago, unexpected. And, I was a daddy's girl. And so he's the one. My dad always was listening to, like Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn back then. I'm 57, so I go way back, and those people are no longer here with us. But he would put those in the car. I'd be hearing it at 6 years old, and I just constantly heard things like that, motivational, positive thinking. And I have one little story that just stays with me forever. I was a runner, so I was at a track meet about seventh grade. My dad was a salesman, so he was gone a lot, but he somehow was able to drive about an hour and a half to come see me. Now, my mom was huge in being that foundation too, so I got a lot of mentorship from her as well. So don't want to leave my mom out. But my dad showed up. Now, I'm not very tall. I'm about 5'5", 5'4" and a half. I always say the half because Tommy, my husband, says, "You're not the half." Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So anyway, my dad was an all-American athlete, so I just loved running. So I'm at this track meet. And y'all remember the track meets, Don't did you remember just
Yeah.
love those
Oh
track
yeah.
meets? Okay, so it was several schools were together, and here we are, and I see him on the sideline, and I'm entered in the long jump. Now, I'm not that tall, but let me tell you, I'm fast. I am very fast. And so I just like, because I was winning races, and all the girls didn't think I had it in me. But man, my dad taught me how to pick those legs up at the end and pick them up, and you can pass people. So
Yeah.
here we are at this long jump. Now, those girls are real tall, and, I'm up against a lot. So he tells me, he says, okay, you've got to get as close as you can to the line. And when you jump, you're going to have to throw your feet over in front of you. And when you do that, you'll beat them all. Well, I did that. I beat everybody. They were in shock. I came home with all these ribbons. And, that just stuck with me. And so I just always had my dad as that person that just motivated me. And then when he passed away, I felt like I took his mantle, his legacy. And my part was this motivational part, this culture building, because he was very charismatic. Everybody he talked to, he'd go in their office and sit with them and just say, "How you doing? What's going on?" Ask about the family. And that's just like, I just thought, that's just who I am too. And I took a lot of parts of him, and that's how I adapted. Now Robert, he's wonderful. He's my brother. He's got his own legacy going. He's part of dad in other ways. But I think that's probably, sorry, it's such a long story, but
No.
that's kind of stuck with me. And he became, you know I guess that mentor. But throughout life, I always made sure I had a spiritual mentor and a business career mentor as well. Always, I'm always looking for somebody. And I think that I love it.
Yeah.
No, no. I love that. I think we all, have those. It brings that warm feeling when you talk about those moments. I had an opportunity to meet one of the biggest people in my life a few years ago that re-entered my life after 30 years, and I saw him again a week ago, and that was my Air Force recruiter. It was so weird standing in the same space with
Mm-hmm.
someone who's had such a profound. So we definitely, I think we all connect with that. We want to shift gears a little bit, Chantell, into some fact. Your life has so many layers. It's like I call it's the 6 layer carrot cake because I'm a big carrot cake fan. So
Yeah.
it's like the 6 layers of the carrot cake, and it's like how do we get through all these layers of so much awesome? So your mission work, there's so much great stuff, and I think that connected with me. I spent 17 years overseas of my 25 years in the military, and I think it's for me and
Mm.
my family living in other cultures. And, my wife and I actually going to Africa on Sunday,
Oh,
and we're going to
wow.
be in five countries in Africa. So like that has always been just seeing other and immersing ourselves in other cultures has been
Mm-hmm.
so great. But you've spent a lot of time overseas doing humanitarian work.
Mm-hmm.
Like what impact has that had on your perspective as a leader, and as a business leader and at home, and that's who you are today.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I retired about 7 years ago. That was surprising. But when I was 49, and it was time. And we both went up to the parent company. And of course, we put in President Ken Starr, and so that is when everything shifted. I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I'd already written a few books, and then somehow, you just it's weird how things just evolve, but I never really paid attention to Brazil. And what I think what I teach is, what do you carry? What all have you been through from the
Hmm.
beginning till now? That's what you carry. And guess what? Here you are today. You lived through it, you passed through it, and you can take some of those things or all of them and help other people in the same situation you were in. And as a businesswoman, and then I have my faith. I put that together and I began to go into Brazil and help business people believe in themselves. And Brazil is amazing, huge connection with family, you know. But I think one of the things that I notice is they don't believe in themselves. They are powerful people. They have generations where maybe they didn't accomplish a lot. And so a lot of them go, well, my parents didn't do anything. My grandparents didn't get to do anything. So I guess I'm not going to be a good business person. I'm not going to be able to make it big. Well, my story fits right in with that.
Yes.
Sorry, not Todd. You're Todd. Yeah, Todd.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking you were Mike Perry. I'm like, I get y'all mixed up. Okay. And so anyway, that's kind of how it evolved. And here I am in Brazil, and I have an Instagram for Brazil, and I have a team
Oh,
over there. And my goal is to get people to believe in themselves. If we can come out of the mess we were in, and everybody was against us, nobody believed in us, nobody cared. We're sitting in this little house, no car hardly, no money, no food, except the church dropping off food. I mean, and we still survived and we pushed through. Well, okay, what was that? What can I pull together and talk about and teach people? Well, you can come out of this too. And so that's kind of where I ended up in the last 7 years.
awesome. No, that's an amazing story. Entrepreneurship, I think, is the lifeblood of any culture. My family is three generation entrepreneurs. It's like in
Mm,
our blood. It's who we are. And I think that's such a great thing that you're helping other folks do that. I would love to hear. I'm gonna follow you now on Instagram because I'm now fascinated. I did not know it was that deep that you had a whole IG account on it. So I
I
got to go find
do.
it.
Oh, and my books are in Portuguese. I have an Instagram for Brazil, Portuguese. Now I speak in English, of course. Don't know any Portuguese, and it's translated. My team's over there, and then I have an English Instagram as well. So, and then my books are in Portuguese and in English as well. So I just went all in. Why not, right?
Why not?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what a noble cause you're doing for the people in Brazil, helping to inspire them. What would you say to someone who may either are retired like you or in the throes of their career and want to get into doing humanitarian work? How did you come about choosing Brazil as your place, and what would you say to them? Where should I get started if I wanted to make the same type of impact that you're
Yeah.
making?
Well, of course, I'm kind of like both of you. I mean, you retired out of the military, right? You started another career. Um, I think you got to really believe in yourself and you got to look at what are your talents, what can you bring to the table, and don't get confused. I mean, I can remember picking three things that I was good at, and then I became an expert in those things, and that was it. I'm not going to do 50 things. I'm going to just be, that's going to be enough for me. And I think that's what just pushed me forward. And then, of course, you know what? I wrote the books. I think we all have a book in us. And have you guys written a book yet? I think you should be writing a book. I would read it. So I think your book kind of makes an impact, and it kind of sets you on a course. So if you have a book inside of you, go for it. I mean, nobody's published my books. I've self-published, but I believe that what I have to say will change your life. It will give you it will get you inspired that you have a dream too. You can go after it. And I think when you begin to start um, like for me, what am I going to do? I took what I had and I began to speak, and then somebody heard me. And then somebody in Brazil, it got sent to Brazil, and then they said, Chantel, I think you have a key for us in for the marketplace, the business world. And here I go flying over there. And I think the key, though, Kaleth, like you, we really connected, is we want to help people, and you're so charismatic and people are just drawn to you like a magnet because you have something genuine to offer back. And I think that's the key. I don't think we have to be anything great, I think we just start with what we have and we're genuine and we give back because we've all come through hard times. And that part of us where it's like, what did you do to get out of this? I mean, that's what people want to know. Could you give me some keys to what you did? And then, I think that kind of opens doors for you. It's really simple. It's not that difficult,
Yeah, no, I agree.
you
I
know?
agree. Yeah, Todd has written several books like you. I'm still working on my my first
You
one.
have, I didn't know you wrote books.
Yeah, I'll send you.
Wow.
I'll send you. I'll send you a box of them.
I need those.
I'll get you the collection.
Okay, yeah, Kaleth. Okay, because I
I'm
tell
working
you,
on it.
you are something else. I want to read your book too.
So
Yeah,
do I. So I wanted to read it for 6 years now. That's how long we've been talking.
Yeah, it's not
it's coming.
easy.
It's coming.
It's not easy to
Uh,
put you. I get stressed out trying to write a book. Like it's stressful, you know?
Speaking of books, so Todd put you and I together during AFSA event. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. So we were at AFSA. I think it was in
Hmm.
Orlando, and we shared the stage. And afterwards, you gave me one of your books.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's something that I've referred to on several occasions. And
Aw.
in this book, this is your book, Winning the Game of Life, and it has several lessons. And lesson number 30 says you should learn to rest. And I want to read exactly what you wrote. It says, it's not enough to stop physical activities. You also need to lay down the burdens in your mind and your heart. Sometimes the key to overcoming a difficult situation is rest and not more activity. And then you go on to say, if we are part of a team, we owe it to the team to rest and be at our best for everyone. Talk a little bit about, as an entrepreneur, as the owner of CSU, as a humanitarian, as an author, as a speaker, how do you create time and space to rest, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually, like you mentioned in your book?
Oh, thank you for referencing that. I wrote that. That was like my second book. So I have changed a lot since then. And actually, I was a person all I did was strive. I was a go-getter, going after whatever, finding people to help me get to where I need to go. And I think you can kind of overdo that. And I just began to strive so much. I was never in rest. My body was always in that fight or flight mode. And I don't even know how I survived all those years, but I, I wasn't going to go backwards. Okay. So I think it can all get so confusing where you stay in this unrest place. It's not a good place to be for your body, first of all. And, my dad passed away and I really felt like he stayed in that place where he was just always trying to overcome. And I think for me, I've come so far, even the last 2 or 3 years, I realize I don't have to strive. I'm good enough. And you forget your past, and you can use that as your foundation, as your stepping stone. Like, look at what we've done. We're good enough. And once you get to that place where you're okay with who you are as a person, you're like now I get off the stage instead of like questioning, like and tearing apart everything I've done, or even when I'm doing this podcast, I'll walk away and said, I hit the mark. I did excellent. And I do these self talks and I don't let negativity come in. Yeah, maybe I could have done better, but I know who I am. I am good at what I've done. I'm excellent. It's not this arrogance. I call it this holy boldness. We just have to come to a place where we just know we are good. We did a lot to get here. We can always get better, but we're also humble people. And it has changed my life, Khalif. I'm at a rest within the last maybe year. I this even in January, I just came to this new place where I'm good enough. And do you know, it's kind of like you put off this new energy. You know who you are. You go into a room, you don't have to prove nothing. I don't have to like get nervous. I know who I am. I carry all this stuff with me that I went through, And when you act like that, you have this frequency, this energy that just kind of goes through the room, and it's just restful. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's me.
Yeah,
That's changed my
Yeah.
life this last year. I'm a different person.
yeah. I would like to ask, some advice that you might have for some of our listeners, particularly some of our students, some of our military students, and particularly females, because in many cases do feel like they have something to prove, and in many cases they actually, because this is a man's world, and I
Hmm.
think we have to acknowledge that women don't sometimes get the same opportunities, and so they may not have that same mindset of, hey, I'm enough, and
Hmm.
I don't have to prove anything. What do you say to people who are still in the part of their career and life where they do have to prove things just based on the way
Yeah,
society views women?
exactly. It's not easy. It's so hard not to get into that trying to prove yourself. I think it just all goes back to your foundation. Like, do you like yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Do you look at what you've done? And I think that's big. We've all come through a lot, so that counts. That counts for a lot. And it comes to the point where even owning CSU, I still questioned myself. It was awful. I wished I needed a really strong mentor at that point in my life. I needed podcasts like this to listen to. There wasn't anything back then when I was in my 30s. And for me, I wish that I would have just liked who I am and like acknowledged that, Chantel, quit trying to find all these people to help you get to where you need to be, because you can get in trouble with that. And I think I would give for all of those listening that yes, you're trying to climb the ladder, so you're going to get into the striving, but you're going to have to come to this place where you like who you are and you know you're good enough to be where you are right at this moment. You have brought all these things that you come through your life, and here you are today. And I think reading a lot of books, listen to podcasts. I always have a spiritual book I'm reading and a business book or a self-help book, because I think we're always improving ourselves. And I think the key here is you've got to believe in yourself. Nobody else is going to believe in you. You have to believe in. I never believed in myself. I had people at CSU tell me that I was not education material. Not really. I'm not administrative like a faculty. I'm not one of those. If you did the disc test on me, I am not a C. I don't like details, but I had this motivational marketing part of me. I could get you fired up about CSU. And so I
Yeah.
think, I had to find my spot. And
Yeah.
I think, we're always overcoming, but I think if you can get to the place where you believe in yourself first, that you like who you are and you're going to get better and better every day, that's the key.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful, and I know you're going to be speaking next month to about 100 women here, at
Nice.
an event,
Yeah.
and as soon as I heard you talking about that, I think that message is so resonated in that room, and it's true. I'm a dad. I'm a girl dad, two girls, and my wife has been someone who is, and I like to use the word striving, right? And it's something that we have talked about. I have two grown daughters who are in that world of striving, and I've struggled with how to be a man in this world and communicate, as the father or husband. How do I and I heard some of your words there, and I was taking a couple of notes, and it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be you. It's okay to find your spot, of what you're good at. It motivates you. So no, I thought that was very powerful.
I
Yeah,
s-
I think.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Chantel.
No, I think one of the thing is I just decided that I was good enough and quit
Hmm.
trying to compare myself. I was always over people older than me. So boy, did I have a lot of people, I bet you had the same thing. So I think the key was just um like liking who I am, and then all that stopped. And then other people noticed that I liked me.
Hmm.
So then they took me different. I think it's all starts with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And I think, maybe a better question is, how do we as leaders ensure that that message
Hmm.
gets to the people that work for us, that we inspire, that look up to us,
Hmm.
as opposed to always asking for more, asking them to do more, asking them to be greater, whether we do it directly or indirectly, because sometimes we don't necessarily ask, but we move in a way that says, "This is not good enough. I need you to do more. I want you to be more. This is not enough rank. This is not enough education," and I think sometimes that we inadvertently create that stress of, I got to do more. I got to strive more. I got to keep going. I got to get more to meet what. Not just what I believe society requires of me, but what my boss
Yeah.
mentor requires of me. So I think is one thing to have the self confidence, and it's another thing to for those around you to confirm and validate that, yeah, you are enough, and you don't have to keep striving. You don't have to keep being in the gap and trying to do more and more and more in life. And I think there is a fine line between having high aspirations and making sure that you're reaching your goals, but not working yourself to death, um,
Yeah.
and not being able to rest, which is kind of how we started on this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do to relax, Chantel? So you do a lot of stuff. What do you do to relax?
Oh gosh. Well, I have a Joanna Gaines garden. I copied her, and I built me a garden house with a fence. And Tommy let me do all this. And I have this big flower garden, and then I have geese and ducks and chickens.
Oh wow.
And then I walk well, my goal is 5 miles a day, but I'm up to three. And so I do that, and then I have a lot of fun. That's kind of my happy place, and then I'm now mentoring a lot of Brazilians and Americans, um, with their moving them forward in life. Kind of what we talked about now, how to go after your dream. I think a lot of people get their dreams stuck at the bottom of the heart. So I enjoy it. I have fun doing that. I am at rest finally. Y'all are still you're working for CSU, and you're still pushing yourself and doing great things. But I don't have all that pressure on me like I used to have. So my life
Yeah.
is nice. So I'm praying for you too. I'm really praying.
Thank you, thank you. I need it every day. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've taken so much out of the last 5 minutes of what you said. You said rest about 6 times, and I'm like, all I can hear is the echoes of my wife downstairs. Like, you need to rest. That's literally quote unquote what she says to me all the time. You need to rest. So I've taken that word in a different perspective coming from you. So,
Yeah, one thing I could just add to two things is, I mean, I went through everything and I didn't do it good, okay? So now I'm trying to go back and say, I can save you 30 years of anxiety and stress and a toll on your body. It's taken me 6 years to get my body to recover from the anxiety and stress because I wasn't going to go backwards. So you're
mm-hmm.
constantly pushing yourself, and then you have people. Questioning you, and your identity, and then you're fighting for, like, I'm trying to get CSU in front of other people, and I'm against 20 colleges that don't think we're good enough. We didn't even have the accreditation we needed back then. So what am I going to do? Now we have the awesome accreditation, SACS, and um, it's everything's different, but there's still stress and anxiety in there. And I tell you, the key is to really know you're good enough, and that frequency and that energy you give off when you go into rooms, you ain't got to say nothing. The room has to answer to you, and that's the key. You don't feel insecure. You don't feel like you're a failure. You walk into the room, you read the room, and there's no stress. I get up when I go speak, I don't have any anxiety. I'm good enough at that very moment to do what I need to do. And I don't question it. Yeah, I feel a little bit of fear coming on, but that's all good stuff. But I look at everything I've been through. Nobody can take that away from me. Nobody. I used to think people could take all my stuff away, but you will never take what I went through away. So I have that huge foundation. I stand on top of it like it's a statue. I'm a statue, I stand on that platform of a monument like it stands on. And when I go into that room, I have peace. I am I'm just like easy going. And I think that if I could push that even to you guys, look at what you've been through. You stand on that. You know who you are. You know what you have, and you just push that forward. And it's like you give off this new energy. People are then attracted to you, and it's just what you give off, And I think that's probably the key that I could give back
Hmm.
is, man, you already got what it takes, and you're already living it, walking in it, and that just brings a lot of rest and peace because it's just not worth it after you retire and then you take 7 years to get your body back in. I mean,
Hmm.
Robert, he had a heart attack at 53 or 4 years old. Tommy had health issues. So, it's just not worth it. And the key was not believing in myself, even though I own a university. But you had these people that say mean things to you, and they're jealous and they want what you have, but they don't want to go through the hell that you went through to get that. And so if let them be them and you be you. And if they want to run their mouth and talk, that's fine, but you silently do your thing. And now people that questioned us, they can drive by the 67,000 square foot building that's sitting there and it speaks for themselves. I don't have to say a word.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
sounds like it sounds like when it comes to people's people's
Don't get me
opinion
started.
of you and CSU, you are unbothered. And so going back to books, that's the name of the book that Todd and I are writing together that we haven't written yet, but unbothered.
Oh,
Uh,
Unbothered.
that's the key. Yes.
no,
Live it up.
I think it's a great way to be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I think, and you even wrote it in your book, winning a game of life. You talked about success and the challenges that come with it, and we both have experienced it. And I think most successful people have experienced, jealousy and envy and people, creating stories, true or untrue, in their own minds. But I love the idea that at this point in time, you are wholly unbothered by people's opinions about you and CSU.
Yeah, it took me a
Love
long
it.
time to get there, and if I can save people from like 20, 30 years of getting there, or let me do it, you know what I mean? I could save you that time because it's not worth it to act like that and think like that. It's just poison to you.
You know.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Absolutely.
let's switch to, we're speaking of CSU and what people think about it. What military students, particularly some of our listeners, not all of our listeners are military or prior military, but I want to speak specifically to that core group of students that we have at CSU. Um, why CSU? What is it that in your mind is special about our university, your university, that students should, one, choose CSU, and two, recommend CSU to their friends, family, other folks who might be looking to further their educational goals? Why CSU?
Well, CSU is the university that will hold your hand and take care of you. The staff, the faculty, it is their university. And when they get hired to work, we take all their training they bring to the table and then we push them forward and change their lives. So we have customer service inside, and then they get the legacy part of CSU, that hard days that we went through as a family, and they can put their story into it and feel it. And it's their university now. And so when you get staff and faculty that believe like that, then when students come in, well, it's the best university there is because we're going to take care of you. We're going to make you feel good about yourself. And you know what I love about CSU is the staff, like we let them be them. They bring all this to, like, you guys, like, look at all that you brought. You're amazing. Like, we're so privileged to have you both, being a part of CSU. All the stuff that you bring, you're changing lives before you got here, and now you're just going to double it. And so I think if you're going to work for CSU, man, we are going to take what you have and then we're going to add to your training. We're going to get you even better than you were before you came here. So then we take all that and push it out to our students, and we find who you are. We listen, and we can have empathy. We can share our story with you, because I love that. That's something I wanted CSU employees to do, is share their story. You have a story. When you're on the phone, you can talk about what you went through, or whatever. And here you are, and CSU can take you to the next level, because we truly care. We don't just talk about it, we truly care. And I mean, I know we're not perfect, but I think we do pretty darn good at it. And I think
Yeah.
that piece, it it's free. We have it in us. And I think when we were first starting out in the university, I'm going off cuff a little bit, but we didn't have any money for marketing, but we had a heart, and it was free. And it's actually awesome what we did with it, and it's still there in CSU. We have to fight for it. We have to push it, because if you don't, things kind of leave. But it's the caring thing, and I think that's CSU. And we're not perfect, but when you enroll in our courses, our faculty are the best. They're going to take care of you, and if they're not, we'll find out. And we'll make changes, because we don't put up with this stuff. We are changing lives through education, period. We speak it and we live it. And I think that's why we're different. And we may not be for everybody, but we're for a lot of people. And hopefully they'll find us, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely do. I tell you, my favorite day. I've been an adjunct faculty for a while, and I've been with CSU as adjunct faculty for about 5 years. And I just started teaching again about 4 months ago, and I stopped for 2 years. And I had and I will tell you, the first day I had a live lecture, and those students came on, and it's the best day is the first day, where you start reading in the threaded discussion people's background. And the
Mm.
best, I tell people, the best note I get is when our Army E8 that's in the Sergeant Major's Academy right now, he looks a little bit at my bio as his faculty and say, "Oh my goodness, you like serve just like me, and you're my professor." Like, like this gives me the pathway that I can do these things, that is something beyond the uniform. And it's just, we talking about changing people's lives by being in the room. We've all had that story about who we were in the room with that inspired us. So I think CSU does that so well, especially with the faculty of people you can always see yourself in, or people that have worked there you can see yourself in. And I think that's the beauty of what you have built, honestly.
Wow.
So
Thank you. That was good way to put it. Thank you. I'm glad,
so
because hey, for you guys to say that, coming from the military and all that you did, I really honor your opinions and your thoughts. If my dad was alive today, boy, he would love you too. He would say, "Let's go play golf." He would
Yeah.
take you out on the golf course.
Hey, so Chantel, as we get ready to wrap up, just two questions for you. One, when you look at CSU today, what are you most proud of? And when you look to the future, what do you see for CSU, 5, 10, 20 years from now? So first question is, what are you most proud of today?
Well, since I have you two on here, I would say that we did well enough that you wanted to be a part of us. Of course, Cleeth, you were on our board, and I miss you dearly. I'm going tomorrow to be part of the board, and like, I need Cleeth. And so I think just that we attracted amazing people like you to be a part, and we have incredible staff that we attracted, and that's awesome. And then, of course, we have all these incredible students in the military. That's always, I love the military so much. Dad was in the army, and I love military. And I mean, I know we have all other areas, but especially since you guys have the background military coming in, that they want CSU, they feel it. That's most important to me, I think. And then the other thing would be that we are our staff are very important to us. Yes, we have great customer service on the outside, but I think, I'm sorry, but first priority is the internal, our staff, and my just helping, being able to help people make a living and climb the ladder of success. because I know that we needed jobs at one time, and that just means a lot to me that we can provide jobs for to help people. And and when they work for CSU, we are always number one, so we're the best.
Love it.
And I don't remember the second question.
The second question was, where do you see CSU in the
Oh
future?
yeah, oh my goodness. We have come through so many miracles. Like, we're not even supposed to be here. I mean, I gave Dad $25. He asked for it when I was like 20 years old, maybe to maybe 22, and I gave him $25, all I had. I didn't have much money as it was, and he went and bought business cards and notepads, and that is a true story. And then we went to um, a video, where you rent videos. I forget the name of that little store. Remember, you go in there and rent a
Block,
video.
blockbusters.
Yeah, yeah, Blockbuster. And he made friends with this guy, and so I think we rented a camera, and that's how we started taping him speaking on environmental issues. And that was kind of our foundation. That's how we became, oh gosh, who we are. And um I think that sticks out in my mind so much. um you know Moving things forward. And I think that, I don't know. I think that well, let me say this. My dad, me and Robert and Tommy, we talk about this. We don't think we saw CSU this big. I mean, we're over 100,000 graduates, and it's unbelievable. And the degrees that we offer, what is it, over 100 or something? So, sky's the limit. I think we're just going to keep growing. He just didn't see it this big. His vision hadn't got that big. And when he died, I mean, we were at 7,000 students. So, my gosh, we were young kids, and we took it to the next level because we had great staff. And I think it's just going to keep going. And my goal was always to beat those colleges that were out there. I'm always chasing them through you guys now. Go get them.
Great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go
CSU
get
is
them.
doing a great job, and we're certain, certainly because both Todd and I, we have an inside track on what's happening with CSU, and we see the same thing, a very, very bright future. So
Oh,
thanks for
so
you.
glad, so glad.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think we're about to wrap up, Chantell. I mean, this has been an amazing journey, in those layers of the carrot cake. I
Yeah.
think we got probably, I think we probably got down to the first two. And there's so much more that I encourage all of our listeners to go out and find those other layers from you. I know you are, and now I learned that you have a Brazilian on Instagram, but I'm gonna. That's another place. But I know you have so many resources out there. Your books are everywhere. Your books are in the CSU store for those CSU students who are listening to this. There's so many different places to still access your resources. You can Google her. You'll even see a impromptu video that we did outside the school talking about military spouses and how we can help military families. But I want to thank you, Chantell. That's all the time we have. But on behalf of Kaleth and I, we thank you for what you and your family has done at Columbia Southern University. The entire team at CSU. This has been two nights at a mic. Reminding you that it's never too late to get started on your goals. And we have had you here today to remind everyone of that. And thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Thank you. I've had a great time.
Oh, damn it. I'm on the... All right, Chantell, thank you very much. That was so awe-inspiring. Disregard. Let me read what the hell you wrote for me. All right. That's definitely probably a blooper right there. Like, what the hell am I making up stuff for? I'm like, just read the dang script right in front of you. Why? Okay. All right. I'm like, man. All right.